Happy New Year, everyone. It's great to be back. This is like my comfort zone, back doing a bunch of agent demos, and today is no different. Let's kick off the year with a good one. Everybody is talking about AI slop. And what I mean by that is people are constantly using AI like Writer to create a ton of content. In fact, I actually just created, pretending I was part of the Nike marketing team, some Instagram ads using Writer Agent. I created a mock email as if I was promoting this new Airstride shoe, and then even like a new product description page. And when I say AI slop, what I mean is a lot of the content that the AI creates might not actually be on brand or might not follow all of the really specific requirements that the Nike marketing team has to follow in order to push anything live to their website. So what I've done here is I'm going to sit with you for the next 5 minutes, and we're going to build an agent that will QA all of this content, not just the written content, but the visuals on the page too. So how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing that we do for any customer that wants to build a QA agent is we say, do you have rules that your people have to follow? And a lot of the companies that we work with do. So you probably have your brand voice and writing guidelines. So this is a 13-page document. I asked Writer Agent to go out and actually create a version of this, but I'm sure Nike has their own version of this as well. It's like the do's and don'ts, right? Use short sentences. Here are the allowed call to actions. Here are the ones that we don't allow. You can see here, I also have another document. This is their messaging framework. So this is an 18-page doc around athlete outcome first. This is an overview of essentially how they like to message to their people. And then lastly, the visual guidelines. So this is a 39-page document that read all of the Nike content it can find, and then it said, here's how the logo needs to look. It needs to be this far from the height of the page, and the margins need to be this big, and the fonts need to look like this. All of this content can now be fed to an agent. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a playbook that allows anybody who's using Writer in Nike to actually QA their stuff. So let's do this live together. So I'll jump into playbooks here. This is that space that allows us to create these reusable agents for the rest of the team to leverage. And we hit create our first playbook. So this is really where we start with an idea. And I spent some time thinking through what I really want here. So I want to build a brand compliance QA agent for Nike that has built-in access to all of Nike's visual identity guidelines, the messaging framework, and the voice and writing guidelines. Those are the 3 documents that I showed you before. The agent will then ask the user to submit any sort of content, and that could be text or designs or web pages or PDFs, social posts, you name it. And then the agent will evaluate the voice, the tone, the messaging, the visual rules, and then it will output all of the things that have been flagged, and it'll suggest corrections for us. So this is all I have to do. And in fact, I'm actually going to even upload those documents so the agent always has access to them. What's really cool about this is we can also choose to connect this to a knowledge graph, for instance, and we can have a living and breathing version of these guidelines. So anytime someone updates the guidelines, the agent automatically gets the latest and greatest guidelines to follow. And then we're going to click transform into a playbook. And this is where the magic happens. Right now, Writer is taking in this description of what I want, and it's building this very structured set of rules for the agent to follow. So think of it like a to-do list for an employee. Hey, if you're on the QA team at Nike, here's what you do. You take the piece of content, you read it all, you make sure that it follows these guidelines. So let's see what it comes up with here first. So the playbook name, Nike Brand Compliance QA. What does it do? It evaluates the submitted content, and then it uses the brand guidelines to identify if there's any deviations in the voice, the tone, the visual rules, you name it. This is pretty spot on. What you can see here is this is like the first draft, but everything here is editable, right? So here's an example of something that I might want to change. Ask the user to confirm the content type if it's not immediately clear. Now, right now, Writer is saying if I was to run this agent, I would need to submit the content type. I don't really think that's necessary. Let's just let the the agent figure out what type of content it is just by understanding it and digesting it. So I'm going to delete that part of the playbook. Now, this is how we go back and edit it. So as we go through this iteration, we will actually be able to improve this playbook over time. So here's the fun part. We have the first version of this agent. What is it going to do? It is going to evaluate that content. These are the steps it's going to take. It's going to take the content that we submitted. It's going to access and analyze those guidelines. It's going to identify and cross-reference those guidelines with that content. And then it's going to deliver us a report. Awesome. Here are the deliverables that we're going to get: a QA report, the deviation analysis, and then the suggested corrections to the content. Sounds amazing. Let's just drop in all of those pieces of content. And what I'm showing you here is it's not like we have to go one by one, asking Writer to take each and every email and evaluate it. We can actually do this at scale. So in a perfect world, we might even have a spreadsheet or a DAM, a digital asset management system, where we want to point this agent to it, and it's just constantly QAing it. So let's hit run playbook. And then this is like the final step of the tour today. What we did was we described what we wanted the agent to do. We gave it some context, some guidelines around what it should follow. And now what's going to happen is we're going to let this agent run. It's taken in all of this content. So you can even see here the thought process of the agent. I'll begin. I can already see you've submitted these content artifacts for review. It's automatically identified what they are. I'm glad we trusted our gut here, and the agent can kind of reason through this. So marketing campaign, we have an Instagram banner, we have a product detail page. And let's see what it comes back with. So we'll let this thing kind of run its course, and we'll see what the outputs look like. Something I absolutely love about this agent interface is you see the full to-do list, every single step of the process that the agent is following to take action and execute on what we want. So it looks like we're just about finished. So we might have the final readout, which only took about 2 or 3 minutes. And it's saying, here are the key findings. Compliance score-wise, the Instagram banner got the best score, probably because it was the most simplistic, right? So not too much to run through compliance here, but it wasn't perfect. So we can see where we need to improve things. The headline was great. The hierarchy, the athlete outcome should be before the product name. This is awesome. It has like really tangible feedback to provide to us. And of course, there's like a documented report here. So you actually might want to automate this with one final step that says, send this directly to my team via email to make these edits. And this goes right to the design team. So I hope that was interesting. First of many demos of the year. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Here to help. Thanks.